Hello and welcome to Bingham Group's Big Three top headlines for Austinites and those interested in our city. Here's our Big Three stories for today. Less than a third of Texas fully vaccinated as CDC lifts mask guidance. 70 city-owned sites being studied for potential homeless encampments. And potential downtown density bonus program fee increases by the end of May. This is the Big Three. And we start here today. Federal health officials reversed course Thursday and advised that people who are fully vaccinated can stop wearing masks and observing social distancing in most indoor and outdoor settings. It's welcome news for many of those who've grown weary of the state safety precautions more than 14 months into the global public health crisis and is a significant milestone in returning to pre-pandemic life. But the announcement will likely give new life to the debate about requiring vaccinations that have been playing out in Texas and across the nation. And it comes at a time when less than a third of Texans are fully vaccinated. Dr. Rochelle Walensky, the director for the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, said from the White House on Thursday, "We have longed for this moment." She went on to say, if you are fully vaccinated, you can start doing the things that you had stopped doing because of the pandemic. In Texas, the rules around masks will stay the same. The state was one of the first to drop the requirement that masks would be worn in public. Governor Greg Abbott in early March rescinded the state's mask mandate, first implemented in July amid a wave of COVID-19 infections, as well as most other restrictions, including occupancy and operating limits for all businesses, restaurants, bars, concert, and sporting events. Under Abbott's order, private businesses may still require customers to wear masks. Many, particularly in the state's largest metropolitan areas, have continued to do so. The CDC's guidance noted that people should still wear masks where local governments, private businesses, and workplaces require them. More than 11 million Texans have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine as of Tuesday, according to state data. Nearly 31% of the state's residents are fully vaccinated, but the rate at which Texas is vaccinating its residents has slowed despite ample supply. An April poll by the University of Texas at Austin and the Texas Tribune found that 36% of Texans said they were either reluctant to receive the vaccine or would refuse to get it, including nearly half of the state's Republicans. The CDC gave the green light Wednesday for the vaccine from drug maker Pfizer to be used on children ages 12 to 15. The vaccines from Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson have been authorized for use in people 16 and older. None of the vaccines are authorized for children younger than 12. State health officials also announced Thursday that children will not be required to get the COVID-19 shot before returning to school, as Texas Department of State Health Services does with vaccines for diseases such as measles and polio. Some school districts have elected to keep their mask requirements in place. The Texas Education Agency in March left the decision to local school districts. Well, this week, Austin began a phased approach to reinstating the city's ban on camping in public, along with limitations on resting and panhandling that were approved by voters earlier this month. In response, the Austin City Council asked the city manager to identify campsites that could house people who are displaced by the camping ban. Homeless Strategy Officer Diana Gray came back with a memo on Friday that says the city has reviewed at least 70 city-owned locations that could serve as city-sanctioned encampment sites, which would provide water hookups, parking facilities, and other amenities for people living outdoors. Gray's memo doesn't say where those sites are, but it does include a preliminary cost estimate for the sanctioned encampments. City estimates a 50-person site on at least 2 acres of land will cost at least $1.3 million a year to maintain. A 4-acre, 100-person site would cost the city at least $1.87 million annually. Those costs include paying for security, storage options for residents, utilities, trash collection, meals, and costs for on-site services, this according to the memo. But after Austin voters roundly rejected the city council's earlier actions and okayed reinstating criminal penalties on camping, sitting, or lying down and panhandling, the city reconsidered the strategy. Gray's memo says city staff has reviewed 70 sites that are city-owned and could fit the bill. The city aims to put at least one encampment in each of Austin's 10 city council districts. The sanctioned camp plan isn't a lock. Cronk's office still has to come back to the council with the timeline and more specifics by June 1st. The list of possible locations comes as the city is reinstating the camping ban after the passage of Proposition B earlier this month. People won't face penalties from now, but ticketing at some camps could begin by June 14th. 30 days after that, Austin police say officers could arrest people who are in violation of the camping ban and potentially clear encampments after giving a 3-day notice. Well, our final story here today, developers are likely to start seeing fee changes in the downtown density bonus program by the end of this month as City Hall strives for more affordable housing. City leaders are recalibrating and expanding the program, which is a common tool developers use to plan tall towers in downtown Austin. The changes are expected to maximize the community benefits that real estate players contribute through their projects. New but temporary calculations for fees in lieu of affordable housing will be considered at the May 20th Austin City Council meeting, while city staff work on an updated analysis to match the calculations to the current economy, which is expected in August. Density bonuses allow developers to exceed the typical allowed Florida area ratios, which translates into taller buildings for small downtown sites. In return, developers are asked to provide on-site affordable housing and provides fees in lieu, as well as meet green building standards and urban design guidelines. The temporary fees in lieu were calculated in 2019 when city leaders worked to overhaul the land development code. If the council approves the ordinance on May 20th, the density bonus fees will also move to the Housing and Planning Department's fee schedule for annual consideration. The idea is to keep these formulas as updated as possible moving forward. A city spokesperson said in an email that city staff are still considering how these changes could impact projects already moving through the entitlement process. Earlier this year, ABJ took an in-depth look at more than 40 high-rises in or near downtown, either on the drawing board are already going up. Well, thanks so much for listening to the Big Three from the Bingham Group. We'd appreciate your comments, your likes, and your reshares. Make sure you follow this account right here for regular updates. Have a great week, and we will see you on Friday for our next Big Three segment.